Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wine and Whispers. We got a special one for you guys today, okay?
It's a good one.
I'm excited about this one. So you're going to get excited with us, okay? So in honor of Black Maternal Health Week, which is held annually from April 11th to the 17th, we have some special people visiting. But before we jump into the guests, let me tell you a little bit about what it is. So Black Maternal Health Week is to raise awareness and advocate for improved maternal health outcomes within the Black community, addressing racial disparities in maternal health, and amplifying the voices of Black mothers and birthing people. That's a lot to digest. I just want you guys to know.
It is. And I'm extra giddy about it because I'm honored to even be in the presence of the fact that my sister, among her collective, is joining us. So my sister,
tell me who it is.
Thai Riche.
Hi, Thai.
She is an IBCLC, which stands for International Board Certified Lactation Counselor. She was my doula. Yes. She was my lactation counselor.
Hey, boo.
She is now studying to become a nurse because it's all incorporative of being able to provide service to upcoming mothers and families.
Okay.
She is a certified birth educator. She has a lot of credentials behind her, and I can't keep up. So there's CBD, not what you think.
It's not marijuana.
CP as in Paul D. CBE. I'm sure
there's so many.
We'll break it down in the description below. PF as in Frank C. She is currently the coordinator for the Black Maternal Collective, who is joining us today, who is also part of the Long Island Doula Association.
Yes.
She is a peri-steam, peri-steam facilitator. You know, you hear all the yoni steam stuff?
No.
Okay. She makes sure that your womb and your vaginal canal is nice and clean and healthy.
Oh, yeah. I want you to know that I heard peri and I thought of Phineas and Verb. Okay, go ahead.
No. Peri-steam facilitator, Reiki, energy healer, and she is also the founder of Ocean for the Tribe, which is her doula. Why am I drawing a break? Her brand. Her doula brand.
Okay.
Her organization.
Let's clock it for Ty for a minute because she's killing it. All right.
That's my sister, guys. That's my sister. Joining her are my sisters from Other Misters. We're just gonna call them that. You know?
Hey, sisters from Other Misters.
We have Makeetah Cochy. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
No, it's okay because Makeetah and Nikita, we was meant to be.
And she is president of the Long Island Doula Association. She is certified birth doula, postpartum doula, and childbirth educator. And she is also a mental health therapist. I mean, melanated women, we out here.
We clocking it. Yes, Makeetah.
Love it. And last but definitely not least is Miss Gonzalez Baez, CBD, which I know stands for Certified Birth Educator, right? Yeah, I don't remember. CPD, CBE. Oh, that's what the CBE educator.
What's CBD, Certified Birth Doula. I got it, guys. I'm here.
A lot of acronyms. Alphabet Soup City.
Oh, gosh.
Advocacy chair for LIDA, which is the Long Island Doula Association, CEO and founder of the Divine Warrior Birth Services.
Oh, my. Clock it. I love this. We are going to have an amazing conversation with them. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Yes.
So, Denise, we need to uncork and unwine. Let's clinky clink. No.
That was a bad one. You got it from the bottom.
Clinky.
We started off by saying thank you guys for joining us. I know it was a little bit difficult coordinating the schedules, but I'm glad that we're here.
Yes.
You guys do amazing work, and we want to be able to share it with everyone as best as we can. Okay.
Okay, so we're just gonna dive right into it. It's very informal. Just let us know your thoughts, opinions. No big deal. And in the sense that I know absolutely nothing, so I'm gonna be asking those questions that are like, girl, you probably should know all this information. Just bear with me.
That's okay. No, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so the first question that I have is, can you guys tell me the difference between a doula, a lactation consultant, and then a birth educator?
So I'll speak first. A doula is someone who is supporting the birthing person through um, labor and delivery. Usually it takes place during their prenatal phase. So anytime during their gestational use, right? It can happen as soon as they pee on a stick or they're about to give birth. And so a doula is there to give physical support, emotional support, um, some education, right? But really there as a support person during labor and during delivery.
Okay.
And then that doula will probably pass the lactation consultant on to them after they've delivered because most people want to at least try or attempt to breastfeed. And
Right.
so this is where the education of the lactation consultant comes in.
Okay.
Okay.
Lactation.
A lactation specialist is there to support a mom with her goals for breastfeeding, formula feeding, helping from preparing them prenatally, teaching them how to like what pumps to get, what pumps not to get, what the function of each one may be. Also, how to position the baby, how to prepare the body, foods, different things like that to help a mom on her breastfeeding journey or chest feeding journey.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay.
Which chest feeding is very, very big, big component because not everyone breastfeeds, but you can chest feed.
Right.
I didn't even think about the fact that different pumps don't work or the idea of the positioning. I just thought, oh, baby wants milk, they'll latch on, right? No.
No, yes and no. Yeah, right. So it seems like it's a natural thing. Just put the baby on, but there's different situations, circumstances, like if you have a C-section versus a vaginal.
Baby's tongue tied. I learned that from my sister.
Did you say tongue tied?
Tongue tie. Yeah. There's so many different things, but that's what the specialist does. Evaluates and assesses that.
Okay.
Some people, and it's important, like I feel like also when it comes to the different sizes of the pump, not everybody is going to breastfeed. Some people choose to give milk without giving the breast. So that's an important factor to make sure that you have a specialist where that they can help you with that and just make sure that you have the right size of everything, which is very, very important because if you don't, then it could be a little painful and that's not what we want.
Right.
No.
No.
Not her grabbing.
You said painful. I was like, oh gosh. Okay.
Exactly.
And not every breast pump is made equal.
No,
right?
that's very true.
You know, as many different breast sizes and there are breast pumps too.
Yeah, there's a lot on the market. Even me as a doula, sometimes I'm like, which one do you have? I'm like, all right, I have to figure that one out because
Oh wow.
they can be a model and then have like 10 different kinds of breast press pumps on that one model. So, and only the numbers are different. So that's very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, as a birth educator, you basically are there to educate the families about birthing. And that looks like coming in and giving them information of the different stages of pushing and understanding their body, understanding what to expect. Birth education also goes into the place of when the baby arrives and how to care for the baby. So a great birth education class it gives you an extensive amount of information, which is very crucial for you to understand, especially for first-time parents. And I mean, I believe that every parent should get a refresher because I think is important. But for first-time parents, I think it's very, very important to go in and just really understand what to expect, right? And also, like I do birth education class. I can do one for a hospital setting and also home birth setting, which can be a little different on how you're going to birth and how things are expected and all of that. And then with all the collaboration of all of it all together, you have a powerful team. Preparing people as best as possible, but also being prepared for the unexpected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to tag on to that question very quickly. So you know how when you like watch the TV shows and the new moms are like, well, we're going to go to a Lamaze class. Is that like a birthing educating class?
So, when I have my children, when I have my son, 33 years ago, all they offered was Lamaze. 33 years later, right, where I'm giving birth education class are way different.
Yeah, it's a lot.
They are a lot more in tune with what a woman needs, what a family needs. Because I mean, not all families are just, there's lots of different families at the moment. And so giving that opportunity and understanding and education from then to now is very important and different. And I find that with Lamaze, they took a lot of like breathing and they talked a lot about sex, and they talked a lot about a few movements. But now with birth education, they're giving you a lot more with that. They're including that because I do include mine, but it's just more extensive, which is way more powerful.
I think there's comfort measures, yoga, more mindfulness. That's what I was thinking. More mindfulness and just also advocacy.
Yes,
which is really, really important.
Yeah.
Teaching patients how to advocate, how to communicate with their providers, creating a birth plan to have, the best birth possible.
An idea of how they would like to customize it for their individual needs, which is very, very important.
Nice. Thank you. So I'm going to segue to the reason for the season for today, right? So can you guys... So we're looking at very beautiful melanated women on the screen, right?
I love it.
And tell us a little bit about your organization and the importance of why we're meeting today for Black Maternal Wellness. Tongue tie, but go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Okay.
So my name is Makeetah Cochy, and I'm the new president of the Long Island Doula Association. Yes.
That's a celebration.
And LIDA for short has been in existence for over 20 years. So part of us coming together and really celebrating is the fact that I am the first Black or woman of color to sit in that position and to hold that seat.
Yes. I wore my melanin shirt for you guys.
Melanin popping.
Yes. And so it's good. It's a good place to be. When you're the first, then there's so many expectations that are put on you. There's so many eyes that are looking, and then you have some haters out there as well. But that's okay. That's fine. That kind of comes with
Eat them for lunch.
Brush them off.
Exactly.
If they're not talking,
if they're not talking. But part of LIDA's mission and goal is to help during conception all the way through the postpartum period.
Okay.
My vision and goal for LIDA is to embrace the diversity that lies across Long Island, right? Between Manhattan and Suffolk. People, the demographics are vast. They're different. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to have diversity. We're living in a very political climate where diversity, equity, and inclusion are being attacked.
Right. Yeah.
It's now, we've always embraced it, but we're embracing it even more. We're revving up our numbers for our Black and Brown Maternity Wellness Collective. We're an association that's not just birth and postpartum doulas, but now we're opening our arms up to lactation consultants, more childbirth educators, mental health therapists, Es and midwives, masseuse and touch and chiropractors, nurses.
Right. Wow.
Opening it up. I know it's called Long Island Doula Association. Association is really a community, right?
It's a collaboration.
It is a collaboration. Because when you're working with families, we refer out. Why refer out? Because one person doesn't have it. One person does not have it.
Building bridges.
Exactly. So, if we open it up and we say, listen, I'm a birth doula, but I can pass you on to a lactation consultant who can help you. And Ty knows for sure that I have called on her many a times. And if I'm working with a family that speaks other languages, I personally do not speak Spanish, but I'm calling on Chris.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And so with these new positions, Ty is now the Black and Brown Maternity Wellness Collective Coordinator. Yay.
Yay!
That's my sister, guys.
Sissy love it.
And then Chris is now our new advocacy chair.
Yay!
Which
Oh wow. Get it? Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
had this position before,
Yeah.
but it opens up. And I love the fact that I can bring in these ladies because we've worked together for other projects, other births, and we've supported each other. And
Crazy because the universe has been trying to
Right.
bring us together
For a long
for a long
time.
time.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh wow.
Really?
yeah,
Because I feel like we've worked as a like
Individually.
in a community,
Yeah.
but we have to literally, for us to work how we're working now, is like we have to communicate. We're doing that, and over the summer we ended up in an event,
The Doula Expo.
exactly, and it was like, wow, this is a vibe. We are a vibe.
I know.
Yes, vibe. Force to be reckoned with, and I love all of it.
Absolutely.
And it's like you
And
fast
then it was
forward.
just like boom, right? It was like,
boom, boom, boom,
and
boom.
it's like, oh yeah, we are.
We didn't see it coming.
We didn't
Mhm.
see it
We didn't see it
coming.
coming.
But the universe put us there together, and that's how it worked. And that we have the same drive, the same understanding,
Passion.
see it grow and become better and do more and give back to our community. So I think that's the beautiful part of it.
And we're about to just shake things up.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think we started already. Like I'm the first Latina to be on the Long Island Doula
I
Council.
love it. I love it.
This is like a whole vibe, and I'm loving it so much.
Yeah.
While the world is crumbling around, we're just stepping up into
Yes.
places. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Be like, we got this. Don't worry.
Yeah. And it's good because we can do cultural sensitivity. I think that's the big
Yes.
of why I am so really embarking and really taking on this responsibility and this understanding, because I think cultural sensitivity is just a big part of our world, right? And so being able to be and also just giving everybody the understanding, the people that are coming up, that there's a place for you. You
We
too
see
can
you.
be your doula.
Yes,
You
we
are
see you.
safe and you are understood. So a very big part of what we do on a day-to-day basis. And yeah,
So
go for it.
I
No,
was
go
gonna
for
say,
it.
we
Yeah.
all know that when you have someone who looks like you, who navigates the world the way you do,
Yes.
it resonates a little different, right? It hits.
Representation matters.
It does.
So it's the Black Brown Maternal Wellness Collective, and we are still all Long Island Doula Association.
Exactly.
We are
are
still alive.
still
With
alive.
a little seasoning.
Yes. A little tough,
But we're here to serve all.
Sprinkle the goodness all over.
A little Laurie's.
Yes.
Preferably a little APC.
So thinking about that idea and how we're entering in this week of Black maternal health wellness. So how does that differentiate from other races and what that looks like for us and why this matters so much?
So if you don't already know, there is a major maternal crisis facing women of color, particularly Black brown women. And so Black women are 4 times more likely to have a maternal death in comparison to their white or non-colored counterparts.
Yeah.
So that is systemic. That is built into the medical system because of, let's just call it what it is, racial bias, right?
Mhm.
That's why the numbers are so alarming that we have to bring attention and support people of color, Black women giving birth. Plain and simple. And so by having a doula, a birth professional who looks like you,
Right.
you have someone in the room who there understands, can advocate for you and prepare you. So that's what we're trying to do. It's been evidence shows that when you have a doula in a room, the likelihood of having a C-section decreases. Right?
Yep.
And so the plan for your birth is most likely to be like adhered to, I want to say, compared to not. Right. So I'm gonna let you take over because
I can share like a personal story, right? I've worked with a particular client about 2 years ago, and she's on to her second birth, her second pregnancy now. But 2 years ago, when I first met her, I didn't know her from anywhere, but she was looking for a doula. This is her first pregnancy at the time, and so she was looking for a doula. She didn't know where to look. she did go into the Long Island Doula Association, and she specifically was looking for a Black doula. Probably by look of my name, she was like, okay,
That might be her.
so yeah, so she did reach out and we connected. And I remember during our interview, the one thing that she did say to me was, Makeetah, honestly, everything you're saying is great. It's just at the end of the day, I want to, I want to hold my baby. I want to be alive.
Oh
Be my
gosh.
baby. And I'm
That
like,
is very sad
alive?
to
She's like, I
think that
just,
that's one of the goals. Like,
yeah.
Right.
But that was what she wanted. She goes, yes, I know I need to do it in the room. You sound great. The number of births that you supported, check, fine, that's great. But I wanted, I mean, for her to say, I want to be alive,
Alive.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to cry. I didn't cry in front of her,
Right.
but there are times when I retell the story that I do because
Mhm.
it touches me.
Mm.
Because okay, see, there you go.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Because it's a real thing. You see,
That means you're human. That means you care.
Yeah,
You're pouring into
absolutely.
it. You're devoted. Yeah.
we face, unfortunately, more often than not.
And it
right?
has nothing to do with your social economic status
It's
Or your
not.
education.
your how much you're making. Because look, it can go from Serena Williams not being
Right.
Oh my gosh.
listened to, right?
Yes.
She didn't
Yeah.
forcefully advocate for herself
Right.
to your normal everyday mom.
Yeah.
Right. It's being heard.
Exactly.
When we say we're in pain, we're in pain. That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
we have a higher pain tolerance.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
because we're really experiencing discomfort. And sometimes the advantage of having a doula is aware of certain signs, like and so a doula is non-clinical, meaning
Right.
we're not there to diagnose. We can't do anything clinical.
Right.
Be very clear about
Yes,
that.
very
Birth
clear.
professional.
Mhm.
But we are aware based on experience of like, okay, if you're complaining of the headache, blurred vision, that might be something you may need to go back to the emergency room.
Right.
Swelling.
Swelling.
A
Right.
headache?
Yeah. Preeclampsia.
That could be lead to or could be considered preeclamptic, right?
Right.
Your constant hypertension. So all of those things,
Pressure.
pressure is high. Like I
Right.
had a client maybe a day or so after she was discharged, kept complaining about her headaches, blurry vision. I was like, you need to go back. And I'm
Right.
not like telling you like, oh, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I would tell my sister or a friend, girl, you need to bring your ass to the
Right.
like now.
Don't play.
Don't play around.
This is not funny.
And lo and behold,
Yeah.
her pressures were off, and
Yeah.
they ended up keeping her. So this is what we're saying, like having that advocacy. It's like having a birth professional. I like to say birth professional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is like having your sister, your auntie, your best
Right.
friend, but on a different level.
Yeah.
You know, the truth about it is that disparities have been going on for a very long time. You know,
Mhm.
for instance, I'm a teen mom. And so at the age of 16, 33 years ago, I had a baby and I had a very traumatic birth. The nurses
Mm.
were terrible, the doctors were terrible. They tied
Oh.
up my legs. They refused
I
to give
know.
me medication because they told me I deserved what I was getting baby early. So
Oh
yeah,
my God.
and you know, at the age of 16, I became an advocate without knowing that
You see?
33 years
Yeah.
later,
You see?
you know, I was going to be a doula and really giving these women, every woman that I come across, because I think that I want to say that every family needs a doula,
Absolutely.
right?
Right.
Fortunately, because there are cultural disparities and things like that, you know, we get put in positions that 33 years ago I was dealing with one thing, and still to this day, many women are
Right.
doing
Doing
the
the
thing,
same
right?
thing.
Yeah.
And some things are talked about and other things aren't. And so what we're doing, and the reason why I'm here today is to bring awareness and the understanding that there are people willing to help. We are here. We are LIDA. We are doulas. We all have our own, you know, like my shirt says, my favorite position is CEO. We are part of the community,
Yeah.
but we are also part of a lot of own things where we have our own careers. We have our own professions. We have our own things. But we are here. We're here to help everybody. That is the reason why I'm here. And that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Like that story and how you're advocating for people moving forward and the experience that you have. Like I was really just tearing up because like that's an awful thing to say to somebody. And when you don't have someone in the room to help
Especially
you.
in a vulnerable state like that.
Exactly.
No, I mean, and it was, unfortunately, it was an experience that I didn't even know. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad till I got a little older and came across a few people where it was like, I experienced this, and then because of it, obviously, I had postpartum depression, and didn't know
Right.
that was both of that, right? And
Mhm.
to add to this, I come from a beautiful family that's very supportive. My Puerto Rican family was all there, right?
Yes.
Couldn't give me what I needed.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't know that.
Which brings me to the next question. So why do you feel like there's a shortage of doulas in the community?
A lack of understanding, a lack of not understanding. People don't even know what a doula is sometimes, right? So, like, unfortunately, that's okay. I think it has a lot to do with a lot of things. And I also feel like people don't always feel like where to look.
Yeah.
Yes.
The resources,
How do I get a doula? How much is it
right,
cost?
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of there's different birth workers also. And that the reason I try to say doula more is because the actual word doula stems from Greek, which means slave, but we are birth workers. So each doula may have a specialty, right? Some doulas specialize in birth only, some specialize in postpartum, some like lactation, whatever, some do placenta encapsulation. Like we all have our little niches that we really, really like are specialized in.
Right.
And so finding a doula, where do you go? How much does it cost? Like all of that is why having Long Island Doula Association is a great place where you can kind of like pick, okay, she does this, she does that.
It's like a one-stop shopping.
It's a great
It is.
It is.
But it's such an ancestral thing.
It is. It is. I was gonna kind of answer your question about why there may be a shortage.
Mhm.
Say what I find most helpful is if you talk to your past clients that you have helped support, and you tell them, you would be really great at helping somebody else. And
Really?
yeah, they'll say things like, "Man, Makeetah, if you weren't here, I don't know what I would do."
Yeah,
Like, thank you so
Mhm.
much for being here. And I wish, the next time I have a girlfriend who's pregnant or something like that, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And then that's when I kind of come in. And sometimes, whether they
pull them
have said anything or not, I'm saying, you would be really good at helping another mom during this process. Because look at what you've been through.
Yeah.
And I can say, again, another personal story that I was a support for someone during her birth, a doula or birth professional, birth worker, during her pregnancy and during her labor and birth. She was magnificent. She was beautiful. She just knew what to do. And I think she would have known what to do even if I wasn't there. But
Mhm.
I was there. I remember her gripping onto me, hugging me, all of it. She was pushing and holding me. I mean, I couldn't breathe, but she was holding me. But after she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, she said to me, "Makeetah, I want to be a doula too." And
Wow.
I honestly thought she was just saying it just to say it, but she is now on her way to certification.
Wow.
And she's a part of our collective. It does bring out the servant in us. And when I say
Mhm.
right, I'm not talking how may I help you, but
Mhm.
in terms of
The purpose.
yes,
The
the
nurturer,
purpose, the
the
nurturer,
healer.
Yeah.
all of it, the encourager. We bring that out of people that we have helped during this process, and that's the perfect time to encourage someone and say, you know what, when you get on your feet, and if you want to help out, this would be a perfect place for you. So LIDA offers birth and postpartum doula training. We have it twice a year. We usually do it in the spring, and then we do it again in the fall. We just had a postpartum doula training last month. At the end of the month, we have 14 new postpartum doulas.
Yay.
It's beautiful thing. Yeah.
It
That's a big
is.
number. I mean, considering how
Yeah.
you're looking for more to join. That's a
Right.
big number. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have birth doulas that just trained. We're about to do a childbirth education training soon.
And New York is also recognizing the
Yes.
importance and role of doula. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of changes with Medicaid where
Mhm.
Other than that.
Yeah. So I don't know all the specifics, but I do know
But
that.
Yeah. So now, Medicaid is with families that have Medicaid and different certain kinds of insurances are able to obtain a birth and postpartum doula. And
Wow.
movement that has been happening and in the works. And it's the funniest part about this is that a lot of families that I do know that are on different insurances are sending me a photo that says your insurance now takes a doula,
Wow.
and
Wow.
they have all this
Do I?
information. And if once you sign up and do all the paperwork for Medicaid, in the sense of to serve as a doula,
Oh wow.
your name goes on a list. And so my name is on the list, and I get almost everyone that I got says, look, Chris, you're on this list. I'm like,
Right.
Yes.
Now it's not about luxury or having private insurance.
it's
Have
about
doula.
necessity
Right.
and, and
Wellness and health.
100%. And respect, right? And understanding that this is something that families should have,
They
right?
have and now have
Period.
access
And have
to.
access 100%. And so, the goal is to get more doulas
On
to be
board.
on board to do all to,
Right.
to train and really get their service out there so that we can help our different communities, right? And really bring them in. And it's a great way to even encourage a lot of the doulas, because I've done that before. I have worked for the community support fund on that LIDA has.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I have had a few moms that are like, yeah, I'm gonna be a doula. And
I love it.
even though we
That's
are
a calling.
cafe today, and there's a young woman, she's like, I love your shirt, and we start talking, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a doula. She's like, I've been wanting to be a doula for a long time. I gave her all the information. I said,
Wow.
4 of us, you'll see us here soon. And she was like, I'm very excited. I mean, and she was like, and truthfully, she said, my sister's having a baby and she's having twins, but she's in Texas, and she found out about a doula, and that's how I learned what a doula is.
Oh wow.
There's lots
Mm.
of doulas in New York.
Yeah.
We are a community.
We
We
are a
are,
community.
so
And there's different components to being a doula too.
Yeah.
Like it's about reproductive justice, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
whether you're advocating with your legislators, the people
Right.
that make the laws, or going to like doing the research, educating. It's just a broad. You can find what works for you in the
100%.
birth world.
That's right. Yeah, I'm a big believer. There's a doula for everyone,
There is a
right?
doula for
Yeah.
There's a doula for everyone.
Yeah.
You should really, interview your doula. Make
Yeah.
sure that you gel with that doula. I
Yeah.
think it's very important for you
Yeah.
to
Oh, that's
feel
one.
comfortable.
They're
Yeah.
there with you for the most like spiritual,
Yeah.
it's the most important time of your life. You
very
want to make
comfortable.
sure. I mean, we see it all.
We see it all.
So
Yeah.
you want to make
Literally.
sure it's like literally.
Yes, you know.
Have a newfound respect for all the women.
Yeah.
On this list.
Yeah, and then you appreciate with each birth it's different, but
Yes.
you appreciate the process of labor.
How strong, the women are. The
Women
families
are
are.
incredibly
Really,
strong.
Yeah, I learned that from Thai. I remember this. I had a completely different experience my first pregnancy
Good for
versus
you.
my second pregnancy. First pregnancy, my sister was nowhere in sight. Second pregnancy, she was there for me, and I learned so much. And she was like, "Your body's made for this. Stop freaking out."
Yeah.
Is our body made for this? Oh gosh.
See that.
Yeah.
We've been doing this.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
It's a
And
real thing.
how empowering is that to think that, oh no, I can't make it. I can't do this.
Right.
And then
My mindset.
your body was made for this.
Right.
You got
Yeah,
Changes your whole
Perspective. Yeah.
yeah. You have no choice but to step up and boss up.
It's really birth is really mind over everything else.
That's true.
Because what I always say to women, like, if you were stranded on an island and you had to deliver your baby, you would. You
Yeah.
would.
Would I?
It's all the Western technology.
You would.
Would I? Oh gosh.
It's true.
I thought a doula has to be vibing with the mom specifically. When the father's involved, how does that play a difference? If you have a father, let's say, or whoever, the partner, yes, let's say partner, who doesn't maybe believe in a doula, but the person who's going to be giving birth is very strongly advocating. Have you ever experienced trying to explain the importance of how this is such a benefit moving forward?
Yeah, there's a lot
Let
of
me tell you,
skeptics.
yeah, a lot of skeptics, especially sometimes, they're like, "Oh, why am I pregnant?"
Yeah,
Right.
But by the end of the experience, they are the ones
They're the
that
biggest
go,
fans.
Really?
"Yes, I'm so glad
I
you're
have
here."
at least 10 dads
Yeah.
that are like, I have 10 dads.
Yeah.
I actually have the funniest part. I had a dad that was against it. Even I walked into the hospital, he gave me the dirtiest
Like,
look, and I'm like, "Hi," you know, 'cause
Okay.
I was like, I need her. Yeah, and then at the very end, he gave me the biggest hug. And do you know that I've gotten 4 clients from that family?
Wow.
That's amazing.
But the thing is, here's the funniest part. Usually, if you get a family referred to you, it's through the mom. It actually was him. He told all the dads,
but
"You need her.
yeah.
You need her." Okay.
I know
You
this
put his
already.
money. You put his money where his mouth is.
Right.
Okay. I was like,
Because
I got
you get the
Yes.
having a birth worker or doula is having the support person not only for the birthing person,
But for the partner.
Yeah.
like listen,
Mm.
Yes.
you
That's
know,
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
I got this. Because you need those moments to like
Yes.
reset, but also helping them know, like, okay, this is what we talked about
Yeah.
in our prenatal class.
Right.
Mom is about to this.
Yeah, this is what to
Right.
expect.
But do you see how
Mhm.
it all comes
Fit together.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
patient, you have the birth
Right.
support, you have the postpartum
Postpartum.
support. It all connects.
It gels,
I
yeah.
was Lida has a program called the Hospital Volunteer Doula Program, and so when I originally trained with Lida, I was doing it at the hospital. So I was a volunteer doula. I would sign up for different shifts. Usually it was overnight because I was still working a full-time job. So going in, right, because if you're a volunteer doula or doula on the hospital floor, you don't have the time. You didn't get that intimate time or weeks or months before
to build rapport.
Mhm.
so my experience was I would knock on the door. I would come in softly and introduce myself as Makeetah. I'm your volunteer doula today. Do you know what a doula is? And I remember walking into one room, and there was a dad partner. He was a dad. They were married, and he was sitting in a corner. He was on his phone. She was laboring alone, and he was just not really paying much attention to her. So I come in and I'm, kind of talking to her. I was trying to talk to him too, but he wasn't interested. And so as I'm dealing with her and talking with her, she was like, "Well, I don't really know what a doula is, but sure, you can stay." And so I don't know. I've never really done this before, but I somehow had her sitting on like the birthing ball, and I started massaging her head, like in her head, like
Mm.
this.
I was like, I could use one.
Really giving her that deep tissue massage in her head, really just to relax her. She was contracting, but I was I don't know what led me to do that, but I did. Intuition. And she started falling asleep on the ball, but the husband saw her and he was like,
What is she doing?
"You need to stay. Stay, whatever you're doing." We got her back to the bed. I was like, "Let me
Mhm.
get your brush." I took her brush. I was brushing her hair.
Yeah.
We don't
She
necessarily.
just wanted to be loved
She
on.
did.
That's it.
She
It's
just needed to
simple.
be nurtured, right?
That's
And
it.
Mhm.
And I know for me, if someone's playing in my hair, I'm like,
Mhm. Absolutely.
it relaxes you, and
Yes.
once you relax, your body can start going
Yeah.
into
she
labor naturally.
surrendered. She
She
surrendered.
did.
That really
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight my labor. Mhm.
find that space and the trust, right? And the understanding.
Vulnerability.
Exactly.
Yes.
And once her body was able to do that, where she surrendered, it's a big part of birthing.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
not
Right.
easy.
Yeah.
And
You're not as tense.
And
Yeah.
was like, whatever you did,
yeah,
keep
then
doing
all of a
and
sudden
stay.
use a fan.
Keep doing it.
Do that
Use a
again.
fan.
I'll take 2 of those.
Exactly. Don't go nowhere because I've had that. You're
Yes.
not going nowhere. I was like, I need to use the
I need
restroom.
to
I've
use
been here for
bathroom.
like how to use the restroom.
Need a snack, because
Right.
are
I
good.
I just need to eat.
Real quick. Don't worry.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a real thing,
Yeah.
but I feel like the more, just as women and families and expecting parents, each family, the more they know, the more they understand, the more aware, the more it just keeps on being invited into. And so, like I said, I had that one dad, and now I had 4 families from that dad, and those dads were super excited. So now they have a dad team.
Yeah.
I
And
can't.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
right? It's growth, it's understanding, it's
Yeah.
that, and they feel like they have a community
That
as
was a
well,
good
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
So
think-
expanding on family and community, how can a caregiver or a partner, because sometimes people don't have partners and may just be a single mom
village.
of another person in their village,
Mhm.
show up during this time or period of the gestation?
I think it's different things. Like
Yeah.
for me, I find that particularly to breastfeeding, right? Breastfeeding duration lasts longer when your partner is on board.
Sure.
Right? So anytime someone is just like, all right, you got this, emotional support, verbal is very important. Like, you got this, you can do this. Or even showing up to be present and involved, meaning, remember you said you wanted to try breastfeeding.
Right.
Let's keep trying.
Right.
But how are you feeling? Like, there's women are so vulnerable
Yeah.
postpartum with not only just emotions that you're
Right.
going through, but physically, you're navigating new waters,
Right.
learning how to. All of a sudden, you go from taking care of yourself to like a whole new
Mhm.
human, and you're just showing up. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a two-time mom. She has no children yet.
I have no children, so like I'm like, yep, a whole other person besides me. Now what do I do? How do I do it?
I have to eat too, and I have to feed the baby, and I have to feed, right? So just being able to have a good community.
Yes. I think that partners, dads, I think that the idea of them just showing up in whatever capacity they're able to, and what that could look like is even just a rub of feeding them, helping during the birth, where we teach them hip squeezes, we teach them different techniques. Some families, some partners are comfortable with it, some partners aren't, but they know what they can and can't do. And also the mom knows. So that's why it's so important to have a doula, because she's there to know how to navigate in between it. The doula is not there to take the space of a partner, right? So the idea is to help and bridge that gap wherever it's needed, and you should know when you're needed. And then the idea of that is, when all of that is there and the birthing mom is able to see all that, it just helps for better postpartum healing. And then the dad is able to, or the partner is able to then give as much as much as they can as well, and that's why also you can have a postpartum doula. So the doula can be for birth and postpartum. For instance, I'm a birth and postpartum doula, and a lot of my families kind of ride into that fourth trimester of healing. And it's very important to know. And I'm there to help dads and remind them. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, come this way, come on.
Does that include does that include keeping those caregivers or partners mindful of any signs for postpartum depression?
100%.
Yeah.
We're not there all the time with them.
Right.
They're the ones that are going to know them better, right? So if something's not right, if that mom has an 8, or is not getting up from the bed, or not touching the baby, or like all
disconnected,
all
Those are
those
signs.
those are signs. And the idea is to be part of their village, so that they know where they can go and say, oh yeah, by the way, this is happening. And they might not think it's that big of a deal, or maybe think, but it might be bigger or less than what they think. Just having the understanding, the knowledge, the support, the guidance, it really helps the partners. And so
part of our training also is to take perinatal mood and anxiety disorder training, or dads. We take that training so that doulas are aware of what those signs might be. I mean, I personally am a mental health therapist, so, and specializing in perinatal mental health. So I may have a little bit more experience than maybe the average person, but all of our doulas are trained in PMATs, so that we are aware of signs. So that we can go, okay, this
is
person,
more than baby blues.
This is more than the baby blues, which does happen. And a lot of our, the fluctuations of our emotions are due to hormones. We know, but when it's a little bit more than crying because you watched a Kleenex commercial or adopt a pet commercial, when you know it's more than that.
Like when you're like, that's the thoughts and things like that. So
intrusive thoughts.
Intrusive thoughts.
Yes.
So that part is very real. And, we do have the training, and although we may not all be mental health therapists, we do have something in our toolkit.
Yeah.
Right.
Ty was mentioning, we all have a little tool bag, or, a bag of goodies. We do dip into that bag, and we may pull out a resource called
Mhm.
Right, a referral.
Yes.
that can help them further than what we can personally do.
Thinking about giving birth and all of that, can you guys give us an idea? It doesn't have to be accurate, but um, what the percentage is between Black maternal death or complications are versus our other counterparts? Is it a huge
Disparity?
discrepancy? Right.
So last night I was a part of. I also sit on the Suffolk legislators maternal mortality and morbidity task force. It's a
Oh gosh,
It's about
it is.
and so our legislator Jason Richburg, he has this task force, and last night on the meeting, one of the doctors who sits on the task force said this crazy percentage, and I was like, I didn't hear that right. So in the state of New York, there are 50% rate of Black women who are who have dealt with or dealing with morbidity,
Mm,
okay, and
that's
mortality
huge.
after birth, compared to 18%
What?
white counterparts. I
Wow.
wait, I
That's only in New York, right?
that's New York
Yeah, yeah.
being a diverse
exactly state, right? But when she said 50%, I wrote the number 50 and then I erased it because I thought, no, that
You misheard,
That couldn't
right.
be real.
Right.
was when I heard 18% as the other. I said, "Wait, this can't be right," but it is, and it's sad. And the only thing that we can chalk that up to is racial discrimination.
period.
It is racial biases. It is racial discrimination and disparities within the healthcare system. As Ty mentioned, it has nothing to do with your socioeconomic background or even your educational background.
Mhm.
It's racial.
Period.
And it's
So,
happening.
so
Unfortunately.
jumping into that idea, me as a person, I don't have any kids. I will eventually have kids,
Yeah.
right? But I'm definitely seeing these ideas. I don't know statistics, but I know of a fact that Black women who go into a hospital are more likely to have complications, pass away, things of that nature, which could possibly deter me from having a child.
I,
So,
That's understood. That's understood. But the beautiful part about it is that there is a task force.
Yeah.
They are
right.
you are in a space of understanding and true reality, and studies have shown that having a birth worker there,
Mhm.
Okay.
C-section rate
Yes.
has shorter births, less complications,
Really?
less pain medication,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like all of
The
those
advocacy.
things studies have shown, and that is the reason why we are doing what we're
Bringing the
doing.
awareness. Yeah.
Okay.
Change that narrative because that's a very valid fear.
It
There
is.
are lots of women that are in this and families that are about to start families or
Mhm.
already have had a child and are thinking to extend their family that feel this. This
Yeah.
is a very real and valid fear.
Yes.
Unfortunately, what we're trying to do is change the name of the game and
Yeah.
really understand that there is a space of awareness and we understand, but there's also lots of people out there willing to help
And
and
prepare
really
you.
exactly and guide you
Yeah.
into the right. And listen, you got Ty.
Listen, I know we've got to end. I want you to know when I found this out, I was like, oh, I don't have to be afraid to give birth. That's the first thought I heard when I heard what Ty does. I was like, oh, I don't have to be a scared mom going
Right.
into this. I have someone who can help me walk through this whole process because
From the beginning,
From
all
to
the
the
way,
end.
right,
you're
which
not
is
alone. You're
it
not.
was so refreshing to hear as someone who was maybe gonna have a child. Because while I may not be ready, my husband is very much kicking over there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, well, at least I know that I have someone that I can talk to. There is a place for me to go that I can understand what's going on with my body.
Place for you to go. And I think that is important. I'm sorry that you feel that way, right? I'm sorry that
Right.
that is
That's how
real.
people feel, though.
I know.
It is real.
And I get it. You know, I've had my own traumatic birth. And
Mhm.
what I did was I empowered myself so that the next two was what I needed to be. And
Right.
understand that I was a young lady.
Yeah.
And I was 19 when I had my second baby and 24 when I had my third baby. And so my husband and I have been together for 35 years. And the thing is that I was afraid, but I didn't let that take over. Right.
Right.
So like
Okay.
taking back my control,
Yeah.
understanding that there's more for me and
Yeah.
that it can make a difference. And that was 33 years ago. And so for you right now, we hear you, we see you, we feel you.
And knowledge is power.
And knowledge is power. And you know you're in the right space at the right time.
yeah.
And
Oh,
the
yeah.
right people to know that that is not happening to you. You're when you choose to start your family,
You'll have a village.
you
Yeah.
have all of us
Yes.
will be all there, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be thankful, and
Oh my gosh.
you're gonna advocate for doulas.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, my heart is so full. Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Thank you guys. We're coming to the close, but before we close, I want to ask, do you guys have anything that you want to make sure that everyone can start doing the research and getting themselves prepared to be able to find a village, a
Yes.
doula, a lactation counselor, depending wherever they are in their journey? Do you have we can I'll snag with Ty and see if I can get you everyone's socials. We'll tag you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
So that we can put your information when we post this. But do you guys have anything you want to share to to our little community so we can expand it with you guys?
I think that I would love to share that just know what you want. Be fearless in understanding that you are in a good space, and the good space is understanding what to look for next, right? And looking for your local doulas. I hope that this reaches out to everybody out of New York State, so that people know that there's lots of support in every place you are. All you have to do is look, do your research, understand, look, and find and interview. Those things are available to you. And so we as doulas are here, we as lactation consultants and birth workers and mental health, like all of that is here. And I think it's great. And I love that you ladies are doing this podcast because you're able to bring awareness and understanding. Giving us the platform to be able to speak our truths and feel comfortable and understand that there is people like us that are out here that are waiting to serve and serve, meaning be of help to our communities. And the more we understand, the more we empower ourselves. And unfortunately, there may be a lot of negatives, but we're changing that name of the game. It's
Please, narrative.
Please, let's change it all.
It's a new story.
Yeah. I think I've been doing this since 2018, and so blessed because I've come across so many amazing, beautiful souls, energies, and I'm continuing to grow.
As we should, right? Like every day, it's important.
So I started off as a doula. I worked my way up to lactation consultant to IBCLC, and now this is something I'm truly passionate about. So I think it's important that at the end of the day, we all want someone in the room who looks like.
Right.
It's a big difference.
It does.
I mean, I love all my patients, right? Because I see a whole bunch of different, diverse people, but birth work is unique, right? And it's going back to our roots, right? That's why I am Oshun, because it's about the tribe, the community, fertility, prosperity, love, and just healing, right? I think if you experience any type of trauma, when you are a healer, you're healing yourself when you serve other people.
It's grounding.
It's grounding.
It is grounding.
It humbles me. It's like, yes, this is what I'm meant to do. It's passion. And so do your research, prepare when you're here. Right. Long Island Doula Association. I can't wait to see what this year, this powerhouse brings.
Yes.
So diverse, but we are here to serve all. Right. But we are, working and making changes and bringing awareness. So
for those mothers that need it and are looking for it, we're here.
We're here.
One thing I would say is that our voices and your voice is very important. It's vital to your outcome. Doulas do serve as advocates. We are not necessarily the spokesperson, right? We don't take over from the room in the room, and we don't take over the birth, and we're not overriding things that doctors are saying. But if we notice and we see, and because we're in tune, right, with our client, if we're noticing that there's certain things that they may not understand when the doctor's coming in and they're talking, or the
Right.
some things, the partner may not even really understand it. As a doula, we'll turn to you and say, do you understand what they're saying? Can they have a minute? Can do you want
Yes.
to talk, to think about it? Do you want a minute to answer before, before like right now?
Right.
And so they're like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. But if something's not feeling right, use your voice to say, this is hurting. This is not feeling right. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Right.
Using your voices is really the one tool that everyone has. We all come into the room having a voice. Use it. That's what
I think that's a great way to end that. I think it's important.
Yeah.
The doula, I make sure to give my families a list or a paper of all every woman's rights.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we all should know.
Yes.
As men, or as just as women. And so you can find that information anywhere. So I think knowing that your rights and understanding and what doesn't feel well and what feels right, And
Right.
Makeetah saying that is very important because even if you couldn't find a doula,
You know your body.
Yeah, go with
your intuition never fails you.
Go with it.
Yeah.
It will not fail you.
Absolutely.
You can say no.
And
right. You can say that's not for me. I'm not okay with that. I need a moment. Can you give me a moment?
Yeah.
You need to recap. All of those things. Those are prime things that we should all as people have, right? We teach 4-year-olds that. I was a pre-K teacher for 22 years.
Yes.
I was big on we need personal space.
Yeah.
Please, so why can't adults do that, right?
Absolutely.
Respect it.
Yeah.
It's a very big factor, right? So people need to learn to respect one another, no matter where you are on the pole, whether you're the doctor, the nurse, whoever it is.
Wherever.
Yeah.
Right? It's a big factor.
It is.
Oh, this was a good one.
This was. Thank you, ladies, so much for all the education that I didn't know I needed.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
We appreciate you.
All right, guys. That was a great one. I'm so excited. Do you feel like you learned a lot?
I did learn a lot. I definitely went in completely uneducated. Just FYI, no shame in my game. I'm more educated than I was going in.
Okay.
And I do want to do some more research on it. While I am not ready to have children, my husband, like I said, is. So let's put it down. Put it down. So I feel like maybe I should just start the process of educating myself prior to us even starting this process, so that when we do start, I feel a bit more confident in this idea that I do need to have an advocate with me, because it's not going to be me. I know me well enough that I'm going to try, but I'm going to be in pain and I'm going to be fighting this birth. When they were talking about it, I knew that it was going to be me fighting this birth.
Oh,
I want you to know.
Don't.
I'm going to fight it.
Your body's made for this.
My body's going to say, I'm in pain. I need to stop.
Yes. Special shout out to Makeetah, Chris. And my husband. We had an amazing time.
Yes.
So many
Thank
helpful
you.
nuggets. Thank you, guys. We're going to drop the information below.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time, Wispies.
See you next time, Wispies. I missed it.
1, 2, 3.
See you next time, Wispies. Hey, Wispies. Thanks for joining us for another hard-hitting girl talk. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe on your podcast listening platforms. See you next time, Wispies.